Hello and a very, very warm welcome to round 5 of 6 of the eRacing GP calendar. It's the sim opportunity for racers around the ASEAN and Australia, actually around the globe, to get involved in eRacing. It's all the brainchild of that fella on the other side, Alex Young. Alex, 2 rounds still to go in the Gold Class edition, and you've introduced something just a little bit different for this. Yeah. You're going for a reverse grid 50-minute race, but the reverse grid is based upon championship points.
Yeah, so we want to try and mix things up. You know, this is e-racing, so we can do what in real life we consider a bit dangerous, like reverse grid races. So we always plan to do, for the last 2 rounds of this championship, to be 50-minute reverse grid race of championship positions. And I think it's working out really well. It should make it very exciting. The best guys still win, but boy, do they have to work for it. And I think Formula One has been listening to us, because I think they're going to try and copy us next.
Quite right, they should do as well. The Gold Class is the very top of the range. eRacing GP has copper, bronze, silver competitors, but the Gold Boys are the top of the top. And the top of the top of the top is a guy called Mohammed Alif Hamilton, who is the 2-time defending champion, and he is the championship leader as well. Last week he got himself a 2nd place. He has not missed a podium in 6 races so far. Do you want to see how good this guy is? Let's look at the highlights from last weekend. We will go on board with Mohammed Nakib for the start of this race. Alif to his immediate left is the man who is on pole, and Nakib's off to a good start. Nasi a poor start. He holds up Nakib, but Alif gets away supremely well, and there's traffic behind Mohammed Alif Hamilton. He's leaving the rest in his wake.
Wow, Miko Nasi with a terrible start. Miko's known for really good starts, and he's dropped back.
Alif Hamilton always totally calm behind them. That's a really good battle for P3. Nasi just watches on as Nakib tries to get on the inside of Mohammed Tasbi. Then Nasi tries to get on the inside of Nakib. There was a moment where they might have been going 3 abreast there, but Nasi always looks so cool. But all you can do, Alex, is just focus on the driver in front of you, who happens to be Mohammed Nakib.
Yeah, if it's one thing to be faster, you've got to try and make the move as well. So he's holding up Luis Moreno also there in 6th position. Oh, there goes Nakib. He's off. I think maybe too much argy-bargy has broken that car. And yeah, that's him out of the race. Oh, wow. Shame for Nakib, the guy that was 3rd in the championship.
But the victory goes to Mohammed Alif Hamilton. He is unstoppable. His 3rd victory of the season. Josh Perwin 2nd. Mohammed Tasbi will come in 3rd. Son Idu is the man on pole position. When the red lights go out, we will be underway. Son Idu alongside Alistair Young. Alistair spins. That allows Mohammed Nakib in the 2nd row of the grid to take 1st place. That is a storming start from the Malaysian. Son Idu, Jaden Lowe and Alistair Young complete the top 4. Alistair into P3 now, actually. But Mohammed Nakib, I suppose if you're going to have a bad first race, make up for it, Alex, by getting off to a storming start in the 2nd.
Same thing happening here for Nakib. Nakib's just gone. He's disappeared. Big lead at the moment. He's just going to go for fastest lap as well. But Miko Nasi up to 4th position. That's a really good first lap. He's probably had the most impressive first lap of anyone.
Mohammed Alif Hamilton has got himself up into P5, and Inigo Anton needs to be careful because Hamilton is closing. Oh, who's that? Who's dropped off there?
Nakib.
Nakib has slipped away. Oh, Nakib's day goes from bad to worse. The last lap of the race, and Nasi is now feeling the heat. He is now under pressure from Alif Hamilton. If Alif pulls a victory out of this, it will be incredible.
Yeah, well, we saw Miko looks calm, but he was wiping his brow just now, so he is still working really hard.
He'll never give up, but it is going to be Miko Nasi, who just takes a little bit of a moral victory, but he'll be frustrated that Mohammed Alif Hamilton is the man who came up to finish 2nd place. What a day for Alif. We keep on saying that. Miko Nasi gets the victory, but Alif Hamilton will take the headlines in round 4 of eRacing GP. Indeed he did. Alif Hamilton had a near perfect 46 out of 49 point weekend at Hockenheim. We're at Laguna Seca this time. Mikko Nassi has still got an outside chance of knocking Alif off his perch. Naki Baslan, though, has had 2 bad weekends already and really cannot afford any other problems. So probably third is his best opportunity. But Kalen Chin and Josh Berwin, the 2 Australians, plus Philippines, Luis Moreno, Singapore's Jason Tay, and Tadashi from Malaysia, as well as Sri Lanka's Singapore-based Yevon David, they will all fancy their chances of maybe getting into the top 3 with 2 races still to go. In the Nations Cup, Philippines and Singapore are level pegging. The Nations Cup has the top 2 point scorers in each race amongst all the categories. So this is a season-long competition. Philippines 4-4-2, Singapore 4-4-2, and if Malaysia can put together some good performances in the last 2 races of the season, you never know, they could get close up to the Philippines and Singapore. But that is, in its own right, a Nations Cup battle that will go right the way down to the wire. And the championship for the teams as well. Well, Sim Racing Filipinas, they've got a handsome 60-point lead over Stratos Motorsports. But Stratos will be strong in this gold category coming up and can expect to get just a little bit closer to Sim Racing Filipinas. Tedco X, Legion of Racers and 7-Star Garage all deserve real credit for accumulating over 100 points in the season. Honourable mentions for Blue Steel, Rough Esports, Team Uncle, Team Racing Line and Australia New Zealand Comrade Gaming, who've also been very game in the teams championship. So it's all building up very, very nicely towards the last 2 rounds of the season. Alif Hamilton, though, is the man in form. A remarkable consistency, Alex Young, from Alif. He hasn't missed a podium position. Even on the reverse grid races, he finds himself in a position, as he did in Hockenheim, to get himself up into P2.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. He's kind of the complete driver. You know, I really feel, especially in, he's the best sim driver in Asia Pacific, certainly in Southeast Asia. You know, he just doesn't make any mistakes. He's quick across all the different platforms. So, you know, really takes something. You know, we've seen Mikko Nassi and Nakib and a couple of the other Indonesian sim drivers take on Alif and beat him. But over a season, the consistency, knowing what to do with it when surprises come up, Alif just seems to handle that better than everyone, and that's why he's leading the championship.
Well, we'll see what kind of a test he's or what kind of mood he's in just a moment. The Laguna Seca circuit, though, has an interesting corkscrew, one of the most famous corners in the world. In fact, before I actually talk to you about Laguna Seca and the reasons why you picked it, let's go on a flying lap around Laguna Seca with Jason Tay.
Hello everyone, and my name is Jason, and today I'll be taking you on a lap around the Mazda Raceway, Laguna, with the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca circuit. Here we are on the start-finish straight, going up the hill into turn 1. And stamp on the brakes for turn 2. And brush for the brakes into turn 3. Lift off the throttle for turn 4. And then late braking for turn 5. Try to carry speed through this corner. Use the banking of the corner to carry your momentum. Small lift to this scary corner right here, up the hill into the very famous corner, which is the corkscrew. Try not to lock your wheels going into it. Keep the apex on the inside. Flat out downhill section right here. Don't lift. Small dab of the brakes into this right-hander. And near your braking point for the last corner. And use all of the track on the exit. And try to not wheel spin like I did. And across the line. And that's a lap of the Laguna Seca circuit.
Jason Tay taking us around Laguna Seca, and there he is on the circuit as well. Even in practice, he's 4th fastest at the moment, Alex. We keep talking about Alif Hamilton and Mikko Nassi. Nakib is out of the equation, but somebody like Jason Tay, very capable of getting in amongst the points, I believe. There's a good depth of drivers that you've got.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, though, he's won races in the ERGP, pole positions, beaten Alif Hamilton and Nakib and Mikko Nassi. But he seems to only be able to do that once or twice in a season. You know, most of the time he's always 4th, 5th, or 6th. And I think maybe the IndyCar doesn't quite suit him quite as well, because he's certainly much more competitive with the DTM cars and the GT3 cars that we've run before in the past. Or maybe he just hasn't had the time to practice as he usually does. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Jason with a championship challenge in the future, instead of just picking off the odd race wins here and there.
One or two of the players, racers who might be able to compete, though, the likes of Kalen Chin, who's been not as consistent perhaps as he might like, but Mohammed Tasby, who's a relative, is he the brother of Alif Hamilton? He got himself into a podium position last week.
So it's kind of interesting. Tasby is, yes, the son of the brother of Alif, but he's also the cousin of Jin Masvilton, who won silver just now. So he's actually on Masvilton's rig right now while he drives his car. And Tasby, he's really come along nicely. He drove a great race. He finished 3rd in the first race of round 4, and great defensive driving as well. So he's younger brother of Alif Hamilton, but certainly coming up.
Certainly is. Okay, we've spoken about one or two of those on the outsiders. Let's have a look at how they will start on the grid. It's what we call the Spotter's Guide. And in the Spotter's Guide, bottom right of your corner will be Alif Hamilton. That's because he is starting 25th on the grid. So in this 50-minute race, he's got to manipulate his way all the way up. And there's some good races ahead of him. Ryan Keith is very strong. Wei Seong had a 4th place in the silver category that we've just been able to witness. Alistair Young, your boy, isn't too bad. Ayman Hazik is there. All over that. Darryl Brady can race. Tasby, we've mentioned. The Filipinos of Inigo Anton. Tadashi out there. That's a good list of racers that Alif and Miko Nasi and Nakib have got to overtake if they're going to win this race 5 of the season. So practice has just got the last 40 seconds or so to go. I don't often ask you to make a prediction. I won't ask for a race prediction, but do you see anyone competing with Alif Hamilton? Have you given him too much to do on this particular reverse grid?
Certainly with these IndyCars that we've been driving in this 3rd Global Edition, the 3 of them have just stood out. I think previous Global Editions, we always felt there was 6-7 drivers could win a race any weekend. But, Alif, Nakib, Miko Nasi, they are the standout performers. They're always, even in reverse grid races, finding their way to the front. So I think that's going to happen today as well. They just have to be super careful. As Miko Nasi spins on the pit lane entry, they're all attacking the pit lane now, practicing for the pit stops, because there will be pit stops later. 2 or 3 pit stops from what I heard. So it's going to be very tricky, those first few laps. They have to stay out of trouble. Dylan Tan was not able to do that in silver, and that's why he couldn't finish the race. So tricky first few laps. Have to be patient, but really it's going to be hard to look beyond those top 3.
Round 5 of 6 of eRacing GP Global Edition Season 3. Mohammed Alif Hamilton from Singapore will start at the back of the grid. He's the championship leader. He's the 2-time defending champion. Miko Nasi, Naki Baslan, Kalen Chin, Josh Perwin, Luis Moreno, Jason Tay, Ayman Akeem Tadashi will all be hoping to make up some kind of ground, but they've all got to make their way a long way from the back of the grid. The big thing in their favour is there is time for them to play with.
There is time. 15 minutes long. I think everyone's going to try and do a 2-stop and maybe try the medium, the hard tyres, the soft tyres, then the hard tyres.
Miko Nasi, we will just have a look at him. He's right at the back of the grid, and I think we'll cheekily start at the very back of the grid as they are underway. Nasi goes 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Sensational. And then a big pile-up in front of Miko Nasi. And after all that great work, Nasi started 2nd from back, finds himself right at the very back. At the front, Alex Young, Ryan Keith has got off to a storming start.
So unlucky. Miko Nasi actually had a great start. Sometimes happens though, you can have a great start and suddenly there's a clash in front of you and there's nowhere to go, and that's what happened to him. So he'll be right at the back. Who had a good start though? Alif Hamilton had a great start. He's up to P7. So he somehow, that clash in front of him certainly helped him, and it's allowed him to get up to P7.
That is astonishing, Alif Hamilton. We're thinking you've got lots of time. Within 60 seconds, he has made up 17 places on the grid. That is what champions are made of. He goes past Josh Perwin into the top 6. I think he'll go into P5 because Son Idu is there. This is just a procession. Alif, there's 50 minutes to go. Give us some entertainment, please, fella.
Yeah, so he's had a good start, but Josh Perwin is right behind him as well. Josh is quick. Oh, someone's off. So one of the cars that was off. Yeah, so Josh is quick, and he'll be able to go with Ali for sure. So, and then further back, Kalen Chin is there as well, Luis Moreno, Brody Steen. So still got plenty of quick drivers up there.
This is just astonishing. Alif Hamilton has got himself up into P3. Just astonishing. One lap in, 25 places to make up, and he's just gone through it's like a knife through butter. Yeah. Hot knife through butter. Alif up to P3. Only Yevon David and Tin Sue ahead of him. Yeah. That is incredible.
Yeah, and good job by him, but you also have to say there was a heck of a lot of luck there. We had 2 cars spinning off at the end of the lap 1. I think with, I don't know, they must have come together and had some damage or something. So that's really going to help him there. Mikko Nasi, they're out of the race. A lot of cars just sitting there.
A lot of cars out the race there. That is an incredible start. Yevon David is there, and Mikko Nasi is just static. This could be the title over, done and dusted. Yevon David is the race leader. Tin Sue. We could be having a 50-minute Alif Hamilton celebration lap here, Alex. Just what an incredible start. We saw all the mayhem in front of Mikko Nasi. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers out already or making a pit stop.
Yeah, so those drivers just in the pit stops repairing damage. So the reverse grid race caused quite a bit of chaos there. And of course, with the IndyCars, damage is at full. So when you do have the damage like that, it is very tough. And there's Mikko Nasi now, a lap down. He'll be out the pit lane. This will be a test session for him. He'll just try and enjoy the race and see what he can learn from it.
Alistair Young is also out there. He was involved in that big crash as well, as was Mohammed Tasbi. So what it means is that Yevon David is the new race leader, and Alif Hamilton is up into P2. The blue and yellow of Alif. You can call it luck, Alex, but it's luck now for 3 straight seasons for Alif Hamilton.
Oh, yeah,
it's more than luck.
That's why he's winning. He's winning because he puts himself in good positions. Obviously you got to put yourself in those positions, receive some good luck, and Alif played that perfectly. He's on the harder compound tire too, so that's going to put him in really good stead because Yevon David is on the soft red compound tires.
Josh Perwin is the man in P3, so he was a man who avoided all the challenge. Well, all of those who were out, were seemingly out of the race, look like they've pitted. There is Mikko Nasi, who's back now in 14th place. He's second in the overall championship. He's had a really good season, Mikko Nasi, but he just got caught up. There was mayhem in front of him. He's going into the pits again. Mikko is clearly suffering some real damage.
Yeah, I think that's him out of the race. Shame for Mikko Nasi, but yeah, that's him done, I think.
A little look, doesn't look too thrilled. We'll see if his race is indeed over, and whether or not he'll use it as a practice session at all. But no, that looks the look of a man whose day is done. In the meantime, yeah, he's gone. He's going to turn off his phone. And Yevon David is the new race leader as Melvin Moe gets a drive-through penalty. Alif Hamilton is there, so there's still a lot out on the circuit, but avoiding all of the problems was Alif Hamilton. Let's focus on Yevon David, a very talented group of brothers, the David brothers, based in Singapore, but with the Sri Lankan flag, and at the moment there's a lead there, and perhaps there's an opportunity for a bit of glory here for Yevon.
Yeah, I think he's not won one of these big races before. Could this be the day? We'll see what his lap times are. He's doing really quick lap times, 6s. Holds the fastest lap of the race so far, 5.7. So 4 seconds over Alif. Yevon is a very talented karter. He's a junior karter. Races around the world, races in Europe even, and he's very quick indeed. New to sim racing this summer. This pandemically induced us to stay indoors a lot more. So he's new to sim racing, and he's improved a lot. was a bit quiet the last few races, but it's nice to see him at the front now.
I can tell you, Caelan Chin has got ahead of his Australian rival Josh Perwin, and Tin Siu is also in there. So Caelan Chin has got himself into the top 3, and Caelan's dad, Dave Chin, is saying, go Yevon David on our Facebook comments. I'm sure he's saying, go young Caelan as well. Ollie Aquino, the perfect word to describe the start, havoc. That's what we have just seen at the start. So there is Caelan Chin now in P3, Alex. And Josh Perwin behind him in the brown car. Looks like he's struggling a little bit for pace.
Yeah, it's strangely enough to see Josh struggling for pace at the moment. I was expecting him to be quick. I was expecting him to follow Alif, but he's just dropped off the pace. His lap times are very slow indeed. It doesn't look like he's suffering from damage, but clearly struggling with something, because that's not the pace we expect to see from Josh.
Caelan Chin lapping a 106.6. The only man in the 105s at the moment is the race leader, Yevon David, as Caelan goes past the tail ender there. So Caelan's in P3, Perwin 4, Taiwan's Tin Siu in P5. Luis Moreno for the Philippines has got himself in P6 ahead of Brody Steen. Miko Nasi drive through penalties, speeding in the pit lane. Miko, is he out there? I think Miko has decided. No, Miko is out there once again. Maybe he's just going to take us a 15-stop strategy from Miko today.
Yeah, this will be a test session for him. It often happens in motorsports in these long races. Sometimes you get involved in the first lap incident and okay, that's it, your race is done. But you still got an hour and a half to go or 40 minutes to go. So often the team boss will send you back out and say, look, treat it as a test session. Track time is always valuable. And you could say this is simulated, so you don't really need to. But it's one thing to be driving around by yourself. It's quite something else to be driving around with 20 other drivers.
Mohamed Nakib is a guy who we've rather ignored in all the mayhem. Nakib third in the championship standings, but had a weekend to forget last weekend at Hockenheim, where he crashed out on race 2 when leading on race 1. He crashed out as well. Fine shirt that he's wearing in the cockpit there as well. He's in P8 just at the moment. And the man in front of him, is that Brody Steen he's going past? No, he's still in P8. It's a back marker who's making a bit of contact. That's a bit naughty from the back marker. But Nakib manages to just negotiate his way through, and he's in P8 just at the moment. Brody Steen and Luis Moreno are the two ahead of him.
Yeah, so there's pretty much more than half the field had to pit after that first lap, after suffering damage. So I think Nakib, so those guys are really far down. So I think Nakib is the first of those cars that had to pit. It's going to be a tough race for him, but still, there's lots to be learnt. And let's see if he can make a two-stop strategy work, try and get into the top 5.
In the meantime, up at the front, Yevon David is still holding on to that lead. He has got a 5-second lead, 4.4 second lead over Alif Hamilton. Nick Stephen gets a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Nicholas Stephen from Indonesia, currently in P13. So Yevon David, right, we've not really had a chance to focus on Yevon and the skills that he brings to sim racing, Alex. He's always there or thereabouts. Looking down the championship standings, he's 9th overall, but without a podium to his name. Is this his day?
Oh, certainly could be. He's showing some really good pace. That last lap, okay, it's starting to drop off a bit. It's 7 flat. So Alif is starting to close in. So those red-walled, softer tyres are starting to lose grip a bit. So he'll have to pit earlier than Alif. Let's see if he can go for another 2 more laps, and then do longer stints on the harder tyre. Then he should be able to make a 2-stop strategy work.
So his strategy is the soft tyre, get off to a rapid start, and then maybe change. But he's gone in on this particular lap. We are with Yevon David. So the race leader, astonishingly, will be Mohamed Alif Hamilton. Uses PTP. He's on the harder compound tyres. He is now the race leader. Caelan Chin in P2. Josh Perwin will be in P3. But I was not expecting within 10 minutes Alif Hamilton to go from last to first.
No, I wasn't expecting that as well. The Singaporean championship leader in a commanding position at the moment, because he'll make a 2-stop strategy work. With Yevon David coming in so early, he's kind of committing himself to a 3-stop strategy, and maybe he's going to just make the soft tires on all three stops. So yeah, 3-stop strategy for the Sri Lankan, and Alif now in the lead. with a two-stop strategy, I feel.
A little bit further behind, Kalen Chin has got himself a 1.5 second lead over Josh Perwin. Little battle of the Australian teenagers there. So Kalen will be looking to... He's had an inconsistent season, Kalen. He has had a podium at Daytona where he came third and also a second at Daytona. But they're the only podiums he's had. He had a 4th place on race number 1 at Road America. Maybe this is the time to actually get some high podium places, because he's certainly got the ability.
Yeah, so he's only 11 seconds off Alif at the moment. If you can find a bit more pace, I think Kalen's going to try and make a two-stop strategy work as well. Got Josh Perwin behind him, so Josh seems to be doing some decent lap times again. He was struggling before. He's not losing Kalen. Quite often this year we see Kalen and Josh racing together and fighting as they go over the line. But yeah, Kalen, it's okay. He's 12 seconds down on Alif. That's a big gap to pull when it's behind Alif Hamilton.
Welcome to Harris Sharmy on the Facebook pages. His comments: we missed you in racing in silver category. Hope to see you next week. But he's calling it a havoc start once again. But it's settling down just a little bit now. But it's the usual story. It's 24 racers turn up and Alif Hamilton wins.
Yep, Alif in clear lead now. 37 minutes to go.
Yeah, a bit early for me to say that. I do apologise.
A bit early to say that, but yeah, he's got the race. It's his to lose at this point, isn't it, Des?
Luis Moreno, the Philippines contingent, will be cheering for him. He's currently got himself in P4 as he comes out of the corkscrew very nicely. He's got Tint Su just behind him. Brody Steen not too far behind them. They're two racers who we again mention frequently, but normally chasing 7th, 8th and 9th. But Brody Steen can be very quick. I remember season 1 when he drove the Porsche in fine style, the old style Porsche, and that was as the highlight in eRacing GP for Brody. Here once again he's maybe got a chance to make an impact. Yeah,
he's very, very quick in the GT3 cars. Again, one of those drivers that, the Indy car is a very tricky car to drive. Oh, it goes around the outside of a Sue. Yeah, Brody's one of those drivers who's very quick, but just struggling a little bit when it comes to the Indy cars.
But he does love the tradition. The racing green is always a fabulous colour to have on a racing car. Tinsu going backwards. Yevon David, he'll be joining that battle for P5 pretty soon. There they are in front of him at the top of the hill. And Yevon, having made one pit stop, those tyres are now, they are the harder compound. So I think you've called that right. As usual, Alex, he's trying to go for a longer time out on the circuit before his second pit stop.
Yeah, well, it's so... And his pace is very conservative at the moment, so I'm starting to think maybe he's going to try and make a two-stop strategy work. Maybe he thought, okay, right, the red softer tyres can only do 10 minutes. And then we'll try and make the harder compounds do 20 minutes each. And if that's the case, if he can go to 20 minutes to go before his next pit stop, then he will be able to make a two-stop strategy work.
Just some inside information from our Facebook pages. Kalen Chin, his dad is writing in, Kalen's suspension is broken, so he's being extra careful. So he's still out there, but he is just having to be really, really careful. So rather than making up time on Alif Hamilton, he's just trying to make sure that Josh Perwin or not too many people can get beyond him until his next pit stop, when I'm assuming he'll make a tyre and a mechanical change.
This is really looking good for Alif, isn't it? I mean, this is his championship wrapped up, isn't it, I think? Because Nakib's not going to score that many points today. Miko Nasi's out. So, wow, yeah.
But Miko has still got a round to throw away.
Yeah, this will be the round he throws away.
And Alif has got a round to throw away, but Alif's lead is 27 points over Miko Nasi. So victory here, and it could actually be beyond anything. Victory for Alif Hamilton will wrap up the title.
Yeah, I think so it will. Kalen Chin then, we're watching him drive now in the green car. We, on Facebook, been mentioned that some suspension damage. Doesn't look too bad though. Doesn't look like he's fighting the car too much. Oh, as I say that, he has a big tank slapper and that's it. Whew, I'm so surprised he didn't lose a position because Josh Perwin was right behind him. Josh not close enough to make use of that position. Kalen was so lucky to get away with that. Now Josh looks to the outside of the corkscrew. Nothing given there. You really can't go around the outside of the corkscrew. Look, Kalen knows that. He's smiling. He was so lucky to get away with that. Hangs on to second position for another day.
That looked like it was an embarrassed little smile rather than a smile of confidence, and all it means is that ahead of this battle for P2, Muhammad Ali Hamilton is increasing his lead. Luis Moreno has got his supporters on Facebook. He's got Francis Angelo Gonzalez saying, "Go Lewis," and Mohammed Tasbi is saying, "Oh, I got flipped in the race, but I'll still watch." Is a one-stop possible, says Mohammed Tasbi. I'll pose that question to you, Alex Young. A one-stop possible?
Wow, really? I don't know. If it is possible, that's going to be a big surprise because, well, you know, Alif has done this to us before in the past. Remember that there was a race, I think it was round 2. He made a one-stop work. Didn't win the race, but he somehow made that one-stop work really well. I would say no, but you never know, right? Because, you know, the good thing about Alif having that first couple of laps with everyone kind of going off in front of him, it means he could have been super conservative. He didn't have to race anyone. He could have really, really looked after those tires. So, I would have said no, but let's see.
We're just on board there with Luis Moreno. He's in P4 at the moment. Brody Steen is 5. It's a back marker who was ahead of him because there was so much damage. The likes of Nicholas Stephen is a lap down. Miko Nassi, who's still out there, he's a full lap down, as is Russell Reyes as well. So it can get just a little bit confusing, but there's no confusion that the man in the lead by nearly 19 seconds is Muhammad Ali Hamilton. Just sense adjectives, you run out of them for this fella.
Yeah, you do.
But superlatives, you run out of them.
Yes, you do. As he now goes through the corkscrew, commanding lead. Yeah, 32 minutes to go. It's kind of a little bit sad that this race is already wrapped up. We'd hoped with those reverse grid races to have the race go right down to the wire. But that first lap crash, we kind of lost half the field, kind of put paid to that. But yeah, we can still enjoy Alif driving superbly and right at the top of his game as he extends that lead.
It's very unsporting, but a commentator wishing a competitor to crash is just not the done thing, is it? No, let's enjoy Alif Hamilton because he started at the back. He started right at the back, and despite all the carnage going on, within 2 laps, he'd got himself up into 3rd. Within 10 minutes, he'd got himself into 1st. Within 20 minutes, he's got himself a 20-second lead. Just incredible.
Yeah, that's right. So some comments on Facebook saying, nah, I think they all agree with me. They can't make a one-stop work. Laguna Seca is tough on tyres. It's not a track you brake heavy on, but a lot of lateral G's goes through these cars, through these tyres. So yeah, I'm going to say no. He's going to have to stop twice, but he needs to start doing his... You know what? He's gone 31 minutes now. Sorry, he's gone 19 minutes now. So he's got to be coming for his pit stop soon if it's going to be a 2-stopper.
Ahead of him, behind him, Kalen Chin is still being able to hold off the challenge of Josh Perwin, but Josh is getting closer and closer. He looked like he was going to make a move there. They're just through corkscrew for the 18th time as they come round the rainy curve and then 10 and then into the sharp left onto the home straight. There is the sharp left and a little bit of dust being thrown up. So Kalen Chin is doing really well despite the suspension problems that are being reported. He's held on to P2. A couple of pit stops have been made. Miko Nassi is 1 lap down. Inigo Anton and Jaden Lowe are 1 lap down. Jason Tay is out. Ryan Keith is out. That first lap carnage, Alex, it'll be interesting to go back to have a look at that, and I'm wondering if Race Control have got some real work to do there, some disqualifications perhaps.
Wow, it's going to be really hard to tell because these cars are really, really hard to start. Don't forget, Indy cars are built for rolling starts. We don't have the possibility to do rolling starts in the game at the moment, so we always have to do standing starts. So the cars get a lot of wheel spin. Some of the drivers start in 2nd, some drivers even here start in 3rd gear to try and control that wheel spin. So when that turbo kicks in, it kicks in really violently. So that's, I think, what happened. Someone must have got a little bit sideways and collected someone, and then it would have started off a chain reaction. We'll have to have a look at it later. Kalen Chin comes in for his pit stop, by the way. We'll have to have a look at that start later, but I think it's going to be hard to blame anyone.
Right, let's just stick with Kalen Chin, see how much damage there was. He's gone down he was P2 as he came into the pit, so Luis Moreno has gone past him. He's now into P4. Brody Steen and Tin Su will also be looking to get past him as well. So how long a stop is it? He's using the full extremities of the pit lane. It must seem like an eternity. In real life, those pit stops, Alex, must just seem like they go on forever.
Yeah, they do. I think he's fixing some damage. Maybe he's fixing that, because that was a bit longer than I expected it to be. But now he's out of the pit lane now and going through the pit exit.
Well, he didn't lose too many spaces. He's on to P5. Alif Hamilton is leading from Josh Purwin. Purwin goes through the corkscrew, and for once there's no problem for him. Normally he's got some kind of competition going on as he goes through the corkscrew. But he's in P2. And Josh, he's getting used to P2, Alex. He can't seem to get that elusive first win, though.
Yeah, well, it's first race of Global Edition 2, I think, was the last time he won in ERGP. But yes, forever the bridesmaid, never the bride, isn't it, for Josh? But still, a long way to go. You know, Kalen Chin, he's got a tough fight between himself and Kalen Chin for position 2.
So, back on hards is Kalen Chin, and he added fuel as well, so he's back in P5. The intelligence is coming from his dad, Dave Chin, on our Facebook pages. We do welcome your comments. Yevon David is the man in P6 at the moment. At one stage, the race leader. He's on a 3-stop strategy, perhaps, Alex?
Well, we don't know, but he lost a lot of time. Just after his first pit stop, I kind of looked down and looked back up, and he was a minute off where he should have been. So I don't know if he had to come in for another pit stop to repair something, or had to put himself in the barriers, but that you know, he's nowhere now. He's out of the fight for even the podium positions.
I love this sweep down the corkscrew. There he is. You can see him working really hard. He's got somebody, I'm assuming that's his dad there, just saying, hey young fella, let's just take it easy.
Yeah, that's his dad, Johan, there. Obviously, he's always there at the go-kart track supporting his kids, and even in the Sims. Well, it's not easy to do it in the Sims because it's in his own house, isn't it?
Nice little addition to the coverage there. The zoom cameras are giving us access. Cheerio, Dad, as he goes off to make some Tate Zarek. And Yevon tries to close in on Kalen Chin in P6, but he's a long way down. Behind them, a young fella who we're used to really seeing up at the top. But Mohammed Nakib is in P7, Alex. And he's having another difficult day at the office because he was caught up in that first lap mayhem as well.
Yeah, so I think a lot of drivers were just, nothing they could have done. I mean, we were on board with Mikko Nasi, and there's really nothing he could have done. He did everything right, but sometimes that just happens. It starts. We don't really see it so much these days, but in Formula One, we used to see it all the time, good 20 years ago. But yeah, so I think Nakib also got caught up, so he will try and recover. He's just really far back from David, so it's going to be hard to get into the top 5, 6. Oh, he has a moment there. Really struggling with wow, look how much he's fighting that wheel. So I wonder if he's flat spotted his tires again. I was talking to Nakib, and he said with his particular wheel, when he flat spots a tire, the car suddenly feels like you've broken the suspension, because it looks like he's really struggling to keep it. Yeah, look, he's struggling to keep it in a straight line. He's fighting that wheel the whole time. So looks like he's going to have to try and think about coming in for a pit stop soon to change those tires.
And in the meantime, Eamon Tadashi is not far behind him, but we'll just stick with Nakib. All the while, we're seeing other people struggling. We never see Alif Hamilton struggle. He's got the lead here. They are lap markers. They are people he has overtaken behind him. The likes of Nicholas Stephen and Russell Reyes, and even Mikko Nasi and Jaden Lowe. Good racers are a lap down on Alif Hamilton, and we've only just reached the halfway stage. Yevon David's a lap down, Nakib's a lap down, everyone is a lap down. Only 4 racers he's not lapped: Purwin, Moreno, Brody Steen and Kalen Chin. Phenomenal.
It is indeed. Comes now through turn 5, coming back up the hill through turn 6, and then coming onto the Rahal Straight. Up to the famous corkscrew corner, serenely on his way. Yevon David just crossed the line. So yeah, 6 cars on the lead lap at the moment. So Alif Hamilton looking very good as he goes through the corkscrew, famous Rainey corner, named after Wayne Rainey, the well, I'm not going to say MotoGP, the 500cc champion. And Alif finally comes in for his pit stop, so he is going to make a one-stop strategy work.
Just incredible.
Wow.
This is his first stop, isn't it? It's got to be. Yeah,
I think so.
So let's see how much fuel he takes on. Again, it's he's got such a healthy lead. Kalen Chin has come in as well. Or maybe he's not. Luis Moreno is the man who's currently in second place. So Luis Moreno is just coming round the corkscrew now. So Alif will make his pit stop, his one pit stop, and he'll still come out considerably in the lead. Luis Moreno is the man who's trying to get there. In fact, Moreno comes in for his own pit stop. So Alif Hamilton in and out of the pit lane and still in the lead.
Well, Alif and Moreno are Legion of Racers teammates. They do run the same team, and I think they're on the Discord channel now talking to each other. So not surprised to see Moreno on the same strategy and going for a one-stop as well. So that will put Kalen Chin back up into second position, and I think it'll put Perwin back up to third, and Moreno will probably come out in fourth.
Go Luis Moreno, says Suzling Chan and Francis Angelo Gonzalez. So Luis Moreno currently in P4. He's made his stop. Kalen Chin and Josh Perwin have gone through. Alif Hamilton is still the man in the lead. Moreno will need to be wary of Brody Steen closing in. Brody just comes into the start-finish straight, but Moreno is off safely. So Moreno in P4, Brody Steen in P5, Yevon David closing on Brody Steen in P6, Nakib still way down in P7. So Steen, what's happened there? I'm hoping that is just a lagging problem. It's a spectacular lagging problem, but Brody is still on the circuit. The Australian connection between KL and Australia, maybe not as strong as it might be.
Yeah, so still having some server issues, just creeping in again. So, but yeah, thankfully it hasn't affected the driver. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter if we see something a little bit strange, as long as the driver doesn't get affected. Luis Moreno just through the corkscrew, nicely done. Rainy corner, flat in an IndyCar apparently. And now one more corner to go. It feels so good now. He's got the fresh boots on, fresh tires, and the car's going to feel so much better. As a driver, when you've been struggling to kind of go around with tires and they get worn, you're like 2 or 3 seconds off the pace that they should be, and then you put the new tires on, it's fantastic feeling. It feels like you can suddenly fly.
Miko Nassi, even in practice, he can't resist speeding. Drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane as he comes out after what seems like his 5th or 6th pit stop. He's going to throw this away. But it might be too late anyway for him to do anything in the championship. He'll just have to make sure that he's got enough of a lead from Nakib Aslan to make sure he holds on to P2 in the overall championship race. So Miko Nassi, we were on board with him at the very start, so it wasn't his fault. He just got caught up in all the traffic that happened. But I didn't see him get involved in the accident itself, Alex, so it does make me wonder where he picked up his damage.
Oh no, he did. I mean, he did get, because those cars went off all in front of him, so he'd have lost his front wing and all sorts of damage on that first lap. Strangely enough, though, he picked up damage after his first pit stop to fix the car again. So yeah, it's a real car killer, this track. This car is a bit too fragile, I feel, in the game, because a lot of drivers, we like to run with full damage on because it forces the drivers to be careful. But and we see full damage work quite well with the Formula 3 car, with the Formula 4 car. But with this IndyCar, this IndyCar is seriously fragile. You know, smallest contact, and that's it. You have to go to the pits. We saw Miko Nassi, remember, he picked up a puncher in Daytona when he had the slightest of touches with a leaf, and that put him out of the race as well.
Let's talk about some of the others. Alif is leading. Kalen Chin still in P2. In the Stratos team, the lime green is very vivid. This will help them in the team championships. Josh Perwin hasn't been able to make any headway. Josh lapping, what is he? He's in the 107s, is Josh, and he'll be wanting to get into the 106s. Alif is in the 105s. Fastest lap of the race so far inevitably belongs to Alif Hamilton, 105.6.
Yeah, it's a good lap indeed. Is that the fastest lap of the race?
Yeah, only Evan David is close.
No, Mikko Nasi just did not just, but he's done a 5.5.
105.5, yeah, okay.
So Mikko's out there just trying to make sure he gets fastest lap of the race, I think. But yeah, so Josh Perwin here in P3. Who's that? He's coming up. He's probably coming to lap someone. Looks like I don't know who that is. But yeah, so Kalen Chin in second position, 11 seconds down the road from Perwin. Perwin pretty much just driving by himself.
It's not Nakib, is it?
Oh, it might be Nakib actually.
Gosh. Yeah, Josh Perwin has just lapped Mohamed Nakib. Nakib in 7th place. Now that is an indignity that Mohamed Nakib Aslan will not enjoy in the slightest.
Yeah, it's that car, we talked about it earlier. I don't think he's had a chance to get in the pits to fix it. But you see how much he's working the wheel. So he's trying to hold So for some reason with his wheel, when he flat spots a tire, normally when that happens in real life or in a sim, you just get a slight vibration through the wheel. But for some reason with Nakib's wheel, when he does pick up a flat spot, the whole thing starts juddering and shaking like it's a broken suspension, and it just gets worse and worse. Yeah, and that's it. So that's, yeah, I think it's just race done and dusted as well.
So Nakib decides to call it a day. It's not been a great season for him to remember. In P2, you've got young Kalen Chin as he comes down 18 minutes to race. How's he competing just at the moment? Because he's obviously made that pit stop, and it looks a little bit smoother now than it was earlier on for Kalen, Alex.
Yeah, Kalen looking good there. Yeah, so he'll be... he stopped a bit early though, didn't he? So he'll be on a 2-stop strategy for sure.
He's got another to go, yeah.
Yeah, Alif will be on a 1-stopper, so he won't have to stop again. So, Perwin, we didn't see where Perwin stopped. He didn't... I think Perwin might be on a 1-stopper as well. So, wow, I think Alif has got this wrapped up. The race win is his. And a considerable lead in the championship lead is his.
I think if he wins, by my calculations, Alif Hamilton will be champion, Alex.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll talk for a bit, and you make sure of that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Kalen Chin. I mean, he's here fighting for second, third positions. So the lower positions are definitely taken care of. But we are on with Alif at the moment, yeah, Alif is he's. Yeah, I think you're right. He might see if he wins the championship. We'll have our scorers now looking at the points now, trying to see what happens, because we've got to consider drop points as well.
It'll put him on 160 points, so even if he scores nothing next week, that's an insurmountable lead. If Mikko Nasi drops this week, Mikko Nasi is 108. So it would be the championship, the earliest he's ever been able to pick up a championship. And you mixed it around. You tried to make it as difficult as possible for him. You put him right at the very back of the grid. You may as well put him on a different circuit and the fellow would probably still win.
I might put him in a bicycle next time. But yes, okay, so Alif, just drive it home. 16 minutes to go, and you picked up your third global edition on a trot. Been a good year for you, 2020.
To Chris Chu and to Dave Chin, we're doing our best not to put a commentator curse on anybody. If anybody, we're reaping it onto Alif Hamilton. So if anything goes wrong here for Alif, we will take the blame, and you will owe us a shekel or two if Kalen comes on and actually takes this victory. Kalen currently in P2, but Josh Perwin isn't able to make any headway. Josh is lapping a 107.3, Kalen a 107.8 on the last lap. So making up a little bit of time, but not much.
Yeah, it'd be nice to speak to Josh after this race, just to see. Well, we won't get a chance to in the show, but just to see what's happening, because the car looks fine. Doesn't look like there's any issues with the car, but the pace just hasn't been there for the Australian today.
Nakib is officially out of the race. Luis Moreno in P4, Brody Steen in P5, Yevon David, the youngster, he's just is that another pit stop that he's just taken? I think it is there. So he's back out now in P6 ahead of Tadashi. Perwin, I think, is going to try and come round and just take him on the lap. So how quickly can he get these tyres up to full warmth? Well, that's not bad. Yevon, very promising racer, 6th place here in the overall championship, 9th, looking for his first podium.
Yeah, he has won a reverse grid race, I think, in the gold class, or was it?
Must have been last season.
Yeah, last season, not this season. But yeah, dad watching him in the background as well. I'd be nice to talk to him again as well after this, because I'd like to know what happened after that first pit stop, because he looked like he was in the hunt for it. Certainly, if not the win, the podium positions. But there's something happened after that first pit stop which cost a lot of time.
We've got 14 minutes still to race. Let's just give a little bit of focus to those who aren't going to really be in the podium, but the likes of Ayman Hakim Tadashi. He has had a podium so far this year. I know he was one of the Malaysians you expected to be, if not competing at the very top, to maybe be better than 8th in the overall standings, Tadashi. He's still got an outside chance of getting in the top 3 in the overall, though.
Yeah. So Ayman, he's always wears that white, what do you call it? Jumpsuit, not jumpsuit. That sweater
racing
thing.
Suit, isn't it?
Yeah, as racing suit. He loves that. He loves to feel hot when he drives. You see the prize he won for winning a Formula One competition on his wall. But yeah, just IndyCars are tricky. A lot of drivers I expected to be up there fighting for race wins were unable to do that in the IndyCar. Ayman's one of these drivers that wasn't able to do it. And to be honest, I think Alif has found something else in the IndyCar. Because the last 2 races, he's just been a little bit untouchable, hasn't he?
Absolutely untouchable, Alif Hamilton. As we just move away from Ayman Hakim Tadashi, Inigo Anton is another who is he's in 8th place just at the moment. He's a lap down though, brightly coloured shirt. That's why we don't show him too often. But his wife Karen will be the one looking after his attire. And at the moment in 8th place. For the Philippines, they always put in a good performance, but the top boys, your Alifs, your Kalins, your Josh Purwins, your Miko Nassis, they just seem to be a step ahead of the Philippine contingent.
Yeah, especially with the IndyCars in this edition. But we'll definitely change it up next time. We'll go for a different car. But yeah, so Indigo is very promising as well, though. He's relatively new to this level of racing. And thanks to the powers of Facebook and social media, we have reasons that we'll say the team communication, or in other words, the father communication. Kalin had planned to go to softs in the 3rd stint, but the suspension is affecting tyres, so it'll be hard tyres for his last stint. And Johan David, the father of Jevan David, has just mentioned that Jevan broke his nose right after the first pit stop, so he had to have an extra pit stop. So that's what dropped him out of the contention for the podium positions.
Indeed. The only person who doesn't have problems, though, he wears the blue and yellow. It's Muhammad Alif Hamilton looking for a 3rd straight title, a 3rd straight eRacing GP Global Edition Series victory. One race, one season, one season 2. He won by the skin of his teeth on account back season 3. He's decided to make sure there's not going to be any drama on the last race of the season. He is going to win it nice and early. If he can get through the next 11 minutes and 11 seconds, then Muhammad Alif Hamilton will be champion for the 3rd straight season. And let's actually just follow a lap of him, Alex, to just see how well he's doing this racing line. These tyres will be getting a little bit wary, so he should have to work. But do you want to talk us through his lap?
Yeah, let's talk him through this lap. So we got Alif. He's going through this turn 5 here. Turn 5 is a very tricky corner. A lot of these fast corners kind of tighten up a bit on yourself, so you can't jump on the throttle too early. Turn 5 is one of them. Turn 6 you've just gone through here also is one of them. Now up this very steep hill, we're at the top of the hill now, braking for the corkscrew, and it doesn't look much, but it's a real severe downhill. The tires almost lift off the ground. Now through turn 10, rainy corner. Turn 10. The turn 11 is rainy corner. Excuse me. And then the last corner. It's a very fiddly corner to end the lap. It's so much fast flowing. Then you come to the last corner and you just kind of go, okay, right, you can't attack. You attack the whole lap, and then the last corner you got to really back it off and go slow, because it's so easy to lock a brake and run wide. Turn 1 we're going through right now. That's where a lot of overtaking gets done. Turn 2, sorry. Now short stab of straight for turn 3. Turn 4 I think it's just a small lift, this one here in IndyCar, so you carry a lot of speed, and then you come back to turn 5, which is where we started the lap. 9 minutes to go. Alif looking very good in first position.
Pretty good, Alif. We had a flying lap from Jason Tay before the race, and the one from Jason when he was really focused was not much better than the one we've just seen from Alif Hamilton on worn tyres with 40 minutes of racing. Just look at his eyes. He's all focus. He's all concentration. He's nice and cool and calm and collected. Behind them, Kalen Chin, I think, has had to go into the pits again. Kalen has dropped into P4. That means Josh Perwin and Luis Moreno have been able to go past him. But Kalen is right on the tail there of Luis Moreno. This is the battle for P3. Moreno in the blue, currently in P3. Kalen has had to make the pit stop and is in P4.
Yeah, so there's a second pit stop. He will have the fresher tyres though. Oh! Yeah, he didn't want to do that. Look at his face. He was like, oh, maybe caught out by the early braking Moreno. He's got the fresher tyres. He just needs to try and make the move. You've got to use these fresher tyres while they're fresh. Don't want to overtake here. You just can't really do it. Try and just edge up closely to the car in front. Get a good run out of the last corner. And try and make the position into turn 1.
So Caleb, a little bit of a stutter there. He's working really hard. I love that bottom right. That might have been an expletive deleted from the young fella. But he's not been able to make up any time on Luis Moreno. 8 minutes to race. A mopping of the brow for Kalen Chin. What's he muttering there, Alex? What's he talking to himself? Do you always talk to yourself?
Yeah, I don't know what he's muttering, but we don't really want to know, do we? I got a feeling there might be a few expletives there as well. But yes, this is a battle for the last position on the podium position, last step on the podium position. Moreno still, oh yeah, you look at, Kalen's got some more damage now. That car's definitely crabbing now. Oh yeah, it's crabbing quite a bit. I think he might have to let position 3 go. That last knock into Moreno, I think, might have damaged that car a bit too much.
Yeah, he was caught up just a little bit by Moreno's late braking. And so Moreno is able to get free. Luis Moreno, looking through his season, this is looking potentially to be his first podium of the season. He had 4 fifth places in a row. So he's had a good season, but this potentially his first opportunity to pick up 16 points plus.
And he looks, he's very focused, isn't he? He's staring at the screen quite hard there. Definitely looking around a bit. Just under 7 minutes to go. Because Kalen will come back. He has got the fresher tyres. But yeah, I don't know. The damage. He has definitely got some suspension damage now.
So Luis Moreno, Philippine champion when we did the regional Philippine edition. He was very, very quick. And here he's got himself into P3. Josh Perwin in the meantime. Second again. Josh Perwin second. We named him in season 1 because he was so often the bridesmaid, not the bride. Russell Reyes, a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane for the third of the Filipino competitors out there. So Josh, 43 seconds down, 20-second lead over Moreno. Just make sure there's nothing silly in the last 6 minutes, young Josh.
Yeah, very true indeed. Josh has to keep it nice. Well, I mean, he's got a nice gap. I think he did a one-stop strategy, so he's not going to need a pit again. I wonder if he's been struggling with a bit of suspension damage, because this whole race he's been a long way off the pace from where he usually is. 44 seconds down to the leader, Alif Hamilton.
Alif, that's a back marker. He's coming, they're all back markers now. There's only 5 other oh, right, Alif, that's okay, that was a glitch in the game. Imagine if Alif was to spin off spectacularly like that. That would be a dramatic occasion. Although, to be fair, he could probably do a spin and still be leading.
Yeah, that's...
Alif in P1. Who is it? He's on the tail of it. Looks like Brody Steen. Is that Brody Steen? It is. Brody Steen is in 5th place, and Alif Hamilton has just lapped him. Alif Hamilton has lapped everyone apart from Perwin, Moreno, and Kalen Chin.
Because he goes with the corkscrew now. Brody Steen. I do love that green coloured car. It looks really nice.
Proper racing green, isn't it?
Yeah, British racing green, isn't it?
Tradition, sir. Tradition.
Tradition. So it's been a dominating performance by Alif Hamilton. really, he's been the standout driver this whole season. Brody, 5th position is good, but he won't be too happy with the pace. We've seen him run at the front before, but just not able to get the pace that he wanted to today.
Back out to that battle for P3. Luis Moreno has been able to pull out a 4.5 second lead over Kalen Chin. So Kalen did get close enough to actually tip the back of the car of Luis Moreno, but in the end that's done damage to Kalen Chin, and it looks like Luis Moreno is destined to pick up a podium finish for the first time in Season 3. A long way adrift of Josh Purwin, even further adrift of Alif Hamilton, but nonetheless a very, very credible performance by Luis Moreno. 3.5 minutes still to race.
Yeah, it's good to see the Filipinos driver onto the podium. Kalen Chin in P4 has just dropped back too far now. Look, there he is in the green car, struggling to even get the power down at the last corner. Let's see, who else is getting quite close? He might start falling into Brody Steen's clutches if he's not careful.
Well, there is Brody. Let's see if Brody has got any kind of a sight of him. He has,
Yeah, well, he's got Alif Hamilton in between the two of them as well. So Alif there, he's going to catch up to Kalen Chin and lap him very soon.
No. Alif won't be... Well, of course he'll be enjoying it, but he won't have that particularly in mind. He's got immense respect for all of the other racers, but whatever he does, he just seems to have the magic spell of being able to produce it when it matters. Last week in the reverse grid race, an astonishing performance. He nearly won it from the back of the grid. Here, he has won it from the back of the grid.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Enjoyed the rub of the green as well, and now comes through this corner. Oh, really carries so much speed through there. He's still pushing. It's nice. Whoa. Okay, there's the lag then. But yeah, he's still pushing really hard. And Kalen Chin in front of him, slightly broken suspension car, is going to go a lap down. 2 more laps to go before the end of the race.
So Kalen Chin is in P4. The man behind him is actually in P1. Don't be confused by that, because Alif Hamilton is looking to lap in this 50-minute race Kalen Chin, and does successfully do so. Kalen politely just says, there you go, Alif, you're the man who is in the lead. Kalen Chin is still in P4. Brody Steen is indeed, Alex, you made the comment that Brody Steen might be able to get closer, but I don't think he'll have enough time. 4 seconds in a lap and a half is just not doable, surely.
Yeah, but Kalen's really struggling. His lap time is gone completely. He's just really struggling to keep that car going. The nose looks broken, the earlier suspension damage from earlier, so he's really struggling to keep that going. That lap time's coming down. I mean, the gap between Chin and Steen.
So it was a 109.0 for Kalen Chin, a 108.3 for Brody last time out. Doesn't look too quick. Brody just comes into the start-finish line for the last time. I'm assuming that's lag on. Yes, heavens above, Kalen. Don't do that for us. Don't do that to us. Yeah. Harry Sharmy, Ali flapping everyone. Truly astonishing, he says. Absolutely dead right, Harris. Yeah. A phenomenal performance from Muhammad Alif Hamilton.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. This man, Mikko Nasi, he's just going around and doing laps of fun. He did a 1:04.3. Wow, fastest lap of the race by over a second. So yeah, he put the soft tires on. That's how he was able to do it. So his fastest lap of the race by 1.3 seconds. Just driving for fun, really. Okay, he's not gonna score any points today, but he will take the 4 points for fastest lap.
So the race comes down to the final few seconds. Let's just glory in Alif Hamilton. Started at the back. Within a lap, he'd got himself up into P3. Within 10 minutes, he'd got himself up into P1. And the victory belongs to Muhammad Alif Hamilton. He is the champion for the 3rd straight season of eRacing GP. Congratulations to the Singaporean. A fabulous achievement.
Wow. Well done. We will speak to him in a while. We'll get Alif onto the Zoom call, and we'll see what his thoughts on winning the championship. Well done to the Singaporean.
Josh Purwin still racing. Alif is bottom right, but Purwin is going to come in second place. Everybody is smiling. I think congratulations are being offered all over the place to Alif Hamilton. Purwin will come into P2. Luis Moreno will take P3. He's got to finish this lap yet. We're still with Alif Hamilton, but Moreno will pick up his first podium. Brody Steen is rapidly closing in on Kalen Chin. There might be a little bit of drama there, but Luis Moreno will pick up P3 across the start-finish line. Now, Kalen Chin, I think, will just limp home in P4. There is the race result. Alif Hamilton takes the victory. Naqib Aslan, fastest lap. Josh Purwin, second place. Luis Moreno, third. Kalen Chin, fourth, ahead of Brody Steen. Yevon David in P5. Terrific from Alif Hamilton. He is the champion for the third straight season.
Wow, so here we got Alif. Well done. What a great race. Alif, and champion for the third time.
Yeah, man. Wow. Oh, man. What a season. What a race. I just couldn't believe it.
What were you thinking that first lap when you saw the cars like that?
I just couldn't believe my eyes, just like there was like this midfield group and they just came together and everyone just flew everywhere, and I just couldn't believe my luck. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, you are the champion. The others can't catch you now. What does this mean to you for the season?
Oh, means a lot, man. Means a lot. I mean, I went through. I feel like this is my toughest season yet. Because I mean, personal side as well as having a lot more competition, I say, from Miko and Naqib as well. And yeah, these cars are not easy to drive at all. So it just makes that win even more satisfying, as you'd say.
Consistency has been the key, though, Alif. You've not been off the podium, and this race is obviously a victory, but you've just not made any big mistakes, even when the luck's been going against you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been just trying so hard not to race too. I tried to race cleanly, and yeah, I mean, today was just. I mean, I can't even. It hasn't sunk in yet, so. But yeah. Wow.
Well, congratulations, mate. Well, obviously you've won a lot of gift vouchers from Precision Sim. We got some cash for you as well. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I'd like to thank all the sponsors as well from ERGP for supporting. I think your Alexis the initiative, as well as just thanking my team, as well as I think dedicating this championship win to everyone who's been fighting throughout this COVID situation. I mean, it's not easy to be in their shoes, and I just put my heads off to them, and I just hope we get through this together, and then we can go racing properly.
Cool. Thank you.
Brilliant message from the champion of eRacing GP for Season 1, Season 2, and now Season 3. Still one more race to go, so we've still got to work out who is going to come second in the overall championship, but he cannot be caught, and it's that consistency. But he blew the race away. Lap number 1 was where it all went wrong. We were on board with Miko Nasi, Alex. Maybe we should have gone on board with Alif, because he just raced through on that right-hand side, whereas Miko Nasi was caught up in all the carnage that seemed to happen midfield just in front of him. Yeah,
it was indeed. But yeah, so you got to put yourself in the right position to receive luck. He chose the right way, and that was why he dominated the race today. And he's now the Season 3 champion.
Not bad at all. We have still got one more round to go, and there's still plenty up for grabs. The Nations title is up for grabs. The Silver competition up for grabs, as well as is Bronze and Copper, and also the Team Championship as well. But the man of the moment, the man of eRacing GP, the man who is unbeatable, seemingly, as we prepare for a Season 4, your champion is Mohammed Alif Hamilton from Singapore. From Alex Young, myself, Des Corkill, and the team behind the scenes who bring eRacing GP for you, it's been our absolute pleasure and privilege to bring you round 5. Join us again next week.